October 2007, 4 US cities, Boston, Hartford, San Francisco, Minneapolis. Investigators walk into ordinary drugstores and department stores. They purchase 33 tubes of lipstick. Some cost $5, some cost $25. They include the biggest brands in the world. What the researchers are looking for isn't color, scent, or marketing promises. They're testing for something darker, lead. Weeks later, results come back from an accredited lab. 61% of the lipsticks contain detectable levels of lead. One tube, a luxury red from Dior, has more than 0.6 parts per million. To put that in perspective, parts per million, or ppm, is like measuring drops of dye in an Olympic swimming pool. It sounds small, but with lead, even tiny amounts matter. There is no safe level of exposure, especially over time, especially near the mouth, especially for pregnant people. None of the lipstick labels mention lead. Consumers have no idea. The industry has no obligation to tell them. This moment, this quiet test exposed a hidden threat, and it opened the first chapter in a much bigger story, the one we're about to tell.
We also found 60% of lipsticks had some or other heavy metals, and the two heavy metals that we found were chromium, which is very, very toxic, and nickel. So in totality, we found that close to 50% of all the samples that we tested either had mercury or chromium or nickel.
But the distinct indication that you might have lead poisoning is a blue line on your gums, okay, in your mouth. It's called a lead line. Some of the things that can protect you against lead is having enough calcium in the body, having enough iron in the body.
Every day, millions of people apply foundation, eyeliner, eyeshadow, blush, lipstick. Color cosmetics are rituals, identity, confidence. For some, they're protection. For others, rebellion. But there's something most of us never question. What's in the pigment? Where did it come from? And what came with it? Color cosmetics rely on ingredients pulled from the earth. Mineral oxides, clays, talc, mica. If those raw materials are contaminated and nobody tests or purifies them properly, heavy metals come along for the ride. Lead, cadmium, arsenic, mercury. Many of these aren't added on purpose. They're impurities. But in countries like the US, Canada, and others, there's no strict requirement to test every product batch for heavy metal contamination. There are guidance levels, suggestions, but no law demanding full transparency. And here's what makes it worse. These metals accumulate. They're not like perfume that evaporates. They're not like cream you wash off. They're like invisible dust settling in your body, day after day. It starts underground. Pigments used in cosmetics come from minerals, iron oxides for reds and browns, titanium dioxide for whites, mica for shimmer. These minerals are mined in countries all over the world: India, China, Brazil. Some mines follow safety and quality practices, many don't. In regions where soil and rock are naturally rich in lead or arsenic, these metals contaminate the raw pigments. If the supplier doesn't refine them properly, or if brands cut costs, those impurities stay in. By the time the pigment is mixed into a lipstick or an eyeshadow, it looks beautiful. It passes color checks, but no one's required to screen for microcontaminants. In 2007, the Campaign for Safe Cosmetics proved this point. Their report, A Poison Kiss, shook the beauty world. Major brands like L'Oreal, CoverGirl, and Dior were implicated. All had lipsticks with lead. Some defenders said, but it's just a tiny amount, less than a microgram per use. But scientists were clear. Lead is not safe at any level, and it accumulates in the body, especially in bone, blood, brain tissue. And what about reapplication? Lipstick wears off. People reapply 2, 3, 5 times a day. Every time, a little more goes in. And it wasn't just lipsticks. Later studies found heavy metals in eyeshadows, blushes, powders. In some cases, more than one metal at once. In Canada, a survey by Health Canada found arsenic in certain face powders. In the EU, cadmium showed up in imported palettes. And these weren't counterfeits. These were real, brand name products. And if this sounds familiar, it should. We exposed the same issue in our Mercury cream video, where toxic levels of mercury were found in skin whitening creams sold across major markets. It's the same story. No testing, no warnings, and no accountability. Heavy metal exposure rarely hits you like a lightning bolt. It's slow, insidious, cumulative. A woman in the UK reports tingling in her hands and face after months of using a glittery eyeshadow. A teen in California develops mouth ulcers and fatigue. Her doctor finds elevated lead levels. She wears matte lipstick daily. In both cases, doctors don't immediately suspect makeup. Why would they? There's no label saying warning, may contain cadmium. But trace exposure over months and years adds up. Lead affects the nervous system. Cadmium builds up in kidneys. Arsenic is linked to cancers of the skin, bladder, lungs. Mercury affects memory and mood. Scientific journals now confirm color cosmetics are a significant source of exposure, and it gets worse if you layer foundation, powder, bronzer, highlighter, shadow. Each may carry a small dose. Together, they stack. If this chapter made you question what's inside your makeup bag, pause. Go check your labels. If it opened your eyes to something you never knew, hit like and subscribe. It tells YouTube this story matters, and it helps others discover what the beauty industry won't say out loud. And this isn't the only hidden danger. Remember our expose on lash glue and brow serums, how prostaglandins in lash enhancers can darken eyelids, change eye color, and cause irritation. How lash glue can contain formaldehyde, a known carcinogen. Those products go near your eyes. These go on your skin and lips. Different products, same pattern, hidden risks. Let's be clear, most brands aren't putting lead or arsenic in your lipstick on purpose, but they're not required to stop it either. In the US, the FDA doesn't require mandatory pre-market testing of cosmetics for heavy metal content. They set a guidance level for lead in lip products, no more than 10 parts per million. But it's just that, guidance, not law. In Canada, products with more than 10 parts per million of lead may be considered unsafe. But again, enforcement varies. In the EU, cadmium and lead are banned as intentional ingredients. But as impurities, there's wiggle room. And here's the trick. These metals are impurities, not listed ingredients. So when you read a label that says mica, iron oxide, titanium dioxide, you have no idea if those materials came from a clean tested source. Brands that use purified, tested pigments can avoid contamination, but that costs more. And when there's no law forcing them to test or disclose, what do you think happens? The profit margin wins. Heavy metals aren't like bacteria or allergens. They don't cause sudden rashes or sneezing fits. They settle deep, they stay. Lead can lower IQ, damage memory, affect mood. In children, it's been linked to developmental delays and behavior issues. In adults, it raises blood pressure and can hurt fertility. Cadmium damages kidneys and bones. It's been associated with cancer. Arsenic, depending on the form, is a known carcinogen. It affects skin, lungs, liver. And here's what few people realize. Most of these metals have no safe level. The risk is long-term. If you use contaminated products for 10 or 20 years, even tiny exposures add up. And not just through skin. You touch your lips, you eat with makeup on, you inhale powders. It gets in. So when someone tells you it's just a trace, ask them, would you feed your child trace arsenic? Would you drink trace mercury? You don't need to panic, but you do need to act. Start by choosing brands that test for heavy metals and actually show the data. Ask questions, push for real answers, cut back on layering multiple color products every day. Go for fewer, safer essentials. Be extra careful with powders and shimmers. And above all, stay informed. The heavy metal issue is only one part of a much larger pattern. Because if you think this is bad, go check your lash glue, or your brow serum, or that miracle founding cream you saw all over TikTok. In our last video, we exposed how lash glue and brow serums can contain hormone-altering ingredients and even formaldehyde, and how the Makeyoui Founding Cream, that viral sky blue moisturizer, hid risky compounds behind luxury branding. This story isn't an outlier, it's a pattern. If the beauty industry will let heavy metals into lipsticks, what else are they letting through? Check the products closest to your eyes, and don't stop there. This isn't about one bad lipstick, it's about an entire system built on silence, loopholes, and marketing over safety. If you were shocked by this, go back and watch our expose on lash glue and brow serums. These aren't just harmless beauty enhancers. Many contain hormone mimicking compounds, prostaglandins, even traces of formaldehyde. The effects? Thinning skin, hyperpigmentation, chronic eye irritation. You're applying it inches from your brain. And we're not done exposing it, not even close.